Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel Nonfiction Summary. Today we are going to have a look at the 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. Enjoy the video and don't forget to leave a like and tell us your opinion about the book in the comments section. So, you put in 40 hours every week. It's possible that you are working much more than that. You're worn out all the time. You're anxious all the time. You do everything to escape the drudgery of the daily grind. Yet it seems impossible. You're bound to your position. You require a job. There is a method for avoiding the 9-to-5 job, though. The objective is to join the new rich. A subculture known as the new rich is characterized by independence and mobility. They are not restrained by anything. They select their destination. They make the decisions. They have concluded that right now is the ideal time to pursue your goals and lead a full life. But how do you accomplish this? How do you currently carry out your dreams and experience life to the fullest? Well, here's another thing the new rich have learned. You essentially only need two things: more freedom and more free time. See, the things that most people identify with millionaires, extensive travel, pricey hobbies, and possibly a butler, basically sum up to two things: greater freedom and greater free time. And you don't need millions of cash in your bank account to have those things. So, obtaining greater independence and free time in order to join the new rich is the objective. Although it sounds like magic, it's not. Always keep in mind that all you really need for a luxurious life are greater freedom and free time. They are necessary conditions for having the freedom to accomplish anything you want, whenever you want, and from wherever you want, and neither can be met by working a regular 40-hour workweek. Let's go on to that formula, which will grant you all the freedom and free time you could ever desire. Redefine happiness and prosperity. The DEAL formula stands for definition, elimination, automation, liberation. The definition will be our first topic. Perhaps you have noticed, but we have already begun to develop some new definitions. Wealth is already being redefined. Never forget that having millions in the bank does not equate to enjoying the life of a millionaire. It involves acting in a millionaire's footsteps. To put it simply, being affluent doesn't need having a lot of money. It's about having the freedom to enjoy the same things that wealthy people do, such as spending months on a stunning tropical island, skydiving whenever the mood strikes, or even just spending more time with your loved ones. Therefore, having money equals having the means to engage in the activities you enjoy. It's not about how much money you have, it's about independence and free time. You also need to redefine the word happiness. Most individuals would agree that happiness is their ultimate objective in life, but what exactly does happiness entail? The author claims that boredom, not melancholy, is the antithesis of happiness. The greatest way to describe happiness is enthusiasm. You should spend your time doing activities that make you happy if you want to be truly content. This required the author to travel, compete in kickboxing matches, and break tango world records. It can imply something quite different to you. The fact is that if you're not happy with what you're doing with your life, no amount of money, a fancy job title, or retirement with millions in the bank can make you happy. The question is no longer how to earn as much money as possible, but rather how to free up as much time as possible. Time in which you can do all those things that excite you. Elimination is the purpose of the E in the DEAL formula. Apply the 80/20 rule and get rid of time wasters to save time. If you're anything like the author previously was, only around 20% of your effort will result in an output of about 80%. This is known as the 80/20 principle, but because the typical workday lasts 8 hours, you might not have seen it at work. Most employees must put in 8 hours a day, so they place more emphasis on activity than output. They shuffle from cubicle to cubicle while organizing their inbox, fiddling with their phone, and walking with self-importance. And because time spent at work is typically the main criterion for performance at most businesses, the employee who appears to be busiest often receives a raise. However, around 80% of that activity is pointless. Spending a lot of time working doesn't guarantee that you are tackling the proper tasks or performing them competently. In fact, the complete opposite. Actually, Parkinson's rule states that we prefer to spend more time on a task the more time we have to finish it. Therefore, if we have an hour to complete the final report for our project, we will. But if we have the full afternoon, all 4 hours of it, we'll take it. What you need to do is identify and then rank the 20% of tasks that will provide 80% of the outputs. And by doing this, you must stop engaging in any chores or activities that don't advance your individual objectives. How do you recognize these important tasks? So, go through your list of to-dos and consider whether you would be content if this was the only thing you accomplished today for each activity. If the response is negative, the proposition is up for removal. In particular, keep an eye out for anything that prevents you from performing vital duties without a break from beginning to end. Time wasters are arguably the most expensive sort of interruptions. Any task that you may avoid without suffering consequences is a time waster. The most frequent ones include web browsing, responding to unnecessary emails, and making phone calls. It is possible and advisable to get rid of all time wasters. But let's just concentrate on some methods for doing away with email. Reading and responding to email twice daily, in the afternoon and at night, is an excellent approach to start weaning yourself off it. If you can do that, why not take it 1 or 2 steps further? Check to see whether you can manage email simply once per day or perhaps just once per week. Keep your friends, family, and coworkers informed as you go along. Setting up an auto response that informs recipients that you're reducing the time you spend on email in order to better serve them and that it might take some time before you react can help you do this. People close to you will adjust and realize that the majority of messages can simply wait in your voicemail box or email inbox while you focus on truly important tasks. People can always phone you or approach you for a face-to-face talk if a request is truly urgent. You'll be able to handle a lot of small jobs and queries at once if you let them pile up in your inbox, which will save you time and free you from interruptions that prevent you from working on more crucial activities. Your productivity should increase dramatically as a result of all these tips. However, they don't quite equal a 4-hour workweek. You'll also need to liberate yourself from the area your job ties you to if you want your daily routine to involve more hammocking on a secluded island with a martini in hand. The new rich lifestyle is also accessible to regular office workers. However, if you are an employee, you cannot immediately adopt automation. In order for the formula to change from the deal formula to the considerably less memorable DeLaugh formula, employees must first free themselves from the office. Here's how you may break free from the office, workers. You are considerably more productive now that you have established your goals and put an end to any interruptions, to the point where you might be able to do in 10 hours what it takes your coworkers 40. However, keep in mind that most organizations promote activity rather than production, so regardless of how quickly you accomplish your task, you'll still need to put in 40 hours every week. Get out of the office is the answer. This will not only let you work from wherever you want, but it will also let you work less. How then do you perform this disappearing act? How can you vanish from the workplace? There are 5 stages that you must take. These are the following. Increase your value to the company. Prove increased output when working remotely. Quantify the business benefit. Propose a trial period. Expand the time you work remotely. If you have achieved being in home office completely, the next step will be to create a company that runs entirely without your involvement. The deal formula A, automation, is finally time for discussion. If you want to separate the time you spend working from the money you make, automation is essential. Just like the new rich of today, you may live the kind of life you want by creating automatic streams of income that can be maintained from anywhere in the world. This is because you won't have to spend all of your time working to make money. Now, if you want to develop an automated revenue stream, you must build a company that operates automatically. Basically, it should run itself. As a result, you can collaborate with a business that can handle product distribution instead of managing it yourself, and you might employ a company to manage your website. You shouldn't have much of a role in this arrangement individually. All you should be doing is reading the service provider's reports and intervening only when absolutely necessary. So how can you make sure business continues as usual when you're away? First, all parties concerned should be allowed to speak with one another on their own accord. No messages should need to be relayed through you. Second, make sure the people you've entrusted with your jobs have as much authority as you can. This will save you a ton of time and allow you much more freedom because individuals will be able to solve issues without requiring your opinion or approval. Who should be doing all of this work, though? Employing virtual assistants is one solution. Virtual assistants can be hired practically everywhere, from Poland to Canada to India. It doesn't really matter where the person is as long as they possess the necessary skills. In the author's experience, virtual assistants from India are significantly less expensive and frequently at least as good as those from the English-speaking West. However, keep in mind to consider the worth of the time you save if you're still concerned about the expense. Let's imagine your hourly wage is $25 and a competent helper costs $30. Accordingly, the actual cost to you is $5 for each hour the assistant handles your task. In other words, for just $40 you could take a full Friday off. It takes a lot of trial and error to find a good virtual assistant, so make sure to hear other people's opinions and don't give up if your first one doesn't work out. Finding the perfect virtual assistant is definitely worth the effort since they do exist. Of course, you need to have a product to offer in order to build the architecture for an automated revenue stream and generate one. It may be a current product that you choose to resell. The only issue with this strategy is that it has lower profit margins because it is reselling an already existing product. Therefore, it is preferable to create your own product, something that will provide the most revenue with the least amount of work from you. But how exactly do you do that? Considering the markets you are most familiar with and then coming up with product ideas based on what you learn is the ideal approach to get started. Let's call your best concept your muse in order to set your company apart from a traditional startup, which isn't what you're attempting to build. Your muse doesn't have to be managed by you, unlike a startup. In the end, you don't really want to be an entrepreneur since you don't want to devote all of your time to management, leadership, and strategy meetings. You're attempting to establish a stream of automated income. The ideal place to hunt for a muse is in a market where getting started doesn't cost you a lot of time or money. Consider the author, who made a fortune with little effort by starting an online business in 2001 to sell the dietary supplement Workweek. Practically speaking, it's critical to exceed the competition and convince potential clients that you are the greatest person to buy from, regardless of the appearance of your product. Getting credible indicators, like a PhD, can help with this. Or, if you don't have the time to devote to graduate school, you can establish your knowledge through other channels, such as by attending seminars or by completing in-depth research using pertinent texts and websites. You don't have to be the world's foremost specialist. The only thing left to do is surpass your rivals and persuade your clients. Prior to manufacturing your goods, test the market. Okay, but how can you tell if your idea, your muse, will persuade customers? You'll have to ask others to buy it if you really want to find out. The best exam, the only test, really, is this one. You need to present the fictional product to real clients and gauge their response. Think about Johanna, a yoga instructor with a brilliant notion for a muse. She decided to make a DVD with a specialized yoga course for climbers after noticing that an increasing number of climbing aficionados had begun attending her class and researching whether such a thing previously existed. She created a website including student testimonials and utilized Google AdWords to run numerous ads. Additionally, she was able to assess the demand and identify the most effective search phrases by examining the click and conversion rates. After gathering all of this data and feeling reasonably confident that her project would be a success, she created the DVD and began distributing it. Sales were higher than she had anticipated. She earned back the initial production costs and the $250 she had invested in testing during the first week. She is currently making a profit of $750 on a solid 10 DVD sales per week. Not bad for a first inspiration. Set a high pricing point and a lofty goal. So, let's say you confirm there is a market for your product, just like Johanna did. But there are some considerations that should be made when designing it to ensure its success. First, you need to be able to succinctly state the goal of the product. Everyone immediately understood the purpose of the iPod when Apple first introduced it in 2001 with the slogan, 1,000 songs in your pocket. Second, you want to make it as simple as you can for buyers to choose to buy your goods. Don't give them a ton of selections to choose from. The more options your clients have to pick from in terms of colors and styles, the more likely it is that they won't purchase your goods because it is time-consuming to weigh all the possibilities. Third, set your product's pricing high, between $50 and $200 in order to draw in the proper clients. This will boost your profit margins, lower the risk of complaints, and give your goods a premium image. According to this reasoning, anyone willing to spend that much money will be less likely to complain if the goods fall short of expectations because they will have extra cash and won't be concerned enough about the loss to raise a fuss. Finally, your offering should make a bold claim and follow through on it. Consider Domino's Pizza, whose 30-minute delivery guarantee applies. Pizza is on the house if they don't. Great promise and reliable delivery. Or think about the guarantee made by the author for Workweek, by saying that it was 110% guaranteed to work within 60 minutes of the first dose. He meant that if you didn't start seeing benefits within an hour of taking your first dose, he would give you a check for 10% of the product's cost in addition to a refund. These audacious claims demonstrate to your customers how serious you are about your offering and give them the extra assurance they require to make a purchase. Conclusion: you should join the new rich and start living life today rather than working for the rest of your days in an office while you wait to retire. Start by redefining, then concentrate your attention on the 20% of tasks that will have the biggest impact. Next, free yourself from the office by proving that working from home is more productive and stop checking your inbox all the time. In order to automate your revenue, find and test different muses. You'll be well on your way to living the lifestyle you've always wanted after you establish these habits. Thanks for watching the video. When you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. See you next time.